Doing this morning?
Doing good.
Doing good, yeah.
I was just surprised she said hey, so
Yeah, right.
Good morning. How is everybody?
Good morning, everybody.
Wow. Doing fantastic this morning, sir.
Doing fantastic, Aaron. So, big weekend for football, a lot of upsets. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But first, I want to introduce our guest today, Mr. Michael Madone. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
Good. So, for everybody out there that doesn't know Michael, he is a stand-up comedian.
Well, a funny guy, huh?
Funny man. Yeah, we brought the funny man today because we try to be funny, but he's actually funny. So we figured, why not bring in the big guns this
Professional.
week? Professional, yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
I've been
So
super excited for this one because I love stand-up comedy. Like, one of these days I'm going to get trashed and just do an open mic. So I just want to pick this guy's brain.
Okay. Yeah, well, I mean, open mics to me are like the most soul-crushing experience.
That helps.
It does, yeah. Like with a lot of things, like acting or movies, stuff like that. If they don't like it, they can not like the script, the wardrobe. Like with stand-up comedy, if they don't like it, they're basically saying we don't like you. So just remember that next time you do stand-up.
How many open mics have you done?
I did several in Chicago. I did a few in Spring. I think so far I've done like 20 open mics. So not too many.
How many were like home runs and how many were you just like, I want to quit everything I'm doing?
The first open mic I did was like, all right, maybe stand-up is not the thing I should be doing. It's hard to tell, man. I mean, the big thing is if you get one person to laugh in the entire room, you're like, consider that's a win right there.
There you go.
You're not going to get everyone. But to me, more people in the audience, the better.
I know we're all kind of stand-up comedy fanatics. So this was a big show for us. I know Aaron. We've really been talking about it. So when you're writing, what's your process?
So when I'm writing, I usually try to shoot for like an hour-long show, which is kind of hard sometimes, especially writing it out on paper, because on paper it doesn't seem like that funny. It's always about delivery and animation on stage and how you're able to control the audience. But what I do is I come up with something that I want to give to the audience, something to take away from the show, not just a few laughs, but something they can think about. So I'll just talk about experiences that I've had and try to link it all together in the beginning of the show, and then somehow tie it all back together at the end of the show.
It's a lot about that segue, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like from what you do in the beginning, you tie it in to the end, and that's kind of what makes it funny. And I feel like relatability is also a big thing when it comes to writing.
Definitely.
Aaron's hilarious, and we've always told him, like, we need to get you to an open mic night and just let you go for bad. So this is like a pick your brain session today.
Okay.
So maybe you can go with us to Looney's or something tonight.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome.
And we can push Aaron up on the stage and
Wow.
see what happens. Now, I've watched a lot of shows. There's one show on Amazon called Inside Jokes, and there's a Just for Laughs comedy festival in Toronto, and it seems like that's the make or break for a lot of people. And they follow these 10 comedians around. Not all of them make it, but it seems like they have the same set, and some of them are 3 minutes, and some of them are 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's a quick time. So would you suggest for an aspiring comedian to start with a smaller set? Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. That was my mistake. When I first started doing comedy, I started writing 15-minute sets. And then my first show that I did at Summer Saloon back in January of 2016, I think, my show was 40 minutes long. My part was. And then when I decided, you know what, I'm going to try to expand my horizons, go to some open mics, get looked at by some people, and they only gave me 3 minutes. And I was like, oh my gosh, how do I consolidate this all into 3 minutes?
Right.
And that's the whole soul-crushing part of it, is because if you can't get anyone to laugh in 3 minutes,
Yeah.
they're cutting your mic, and you're like, oh man. But
So if you're, if you do like a 40-minute set, if you're just dying the whole way, will they just kind of play you out of there when they feel like you've had enough, or
yes,
do you just sit there and 40 minutes just hate life.
Well, to be honest with you, when you're on stage, 40 minutes, if you're bombing, will feel like 10 minutes.
Right?
Yeah. And which is nice, I think. Yeah, some people will just cut your mic to like, all right, buddy.
Get the red light.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Or
A
just
little,
trash outta here.
flashing red.
Yeah, if you're not off stage first, the audience will be. The audience will be gone.
Wow.
But
Is that the hardest part? Is writing?
yes, for me. I think the hardest part for me is definitely the writing and coming up with jokes, because jokes to me that I find funny are not funny to everyone else. So I could be writing something out, I'm like, this is genius, and then I'll try to like subtly sneak it in like in the middle of conversation, and no one's laughing. I'm like, all right, take a mental note of that. Let's scratch that joke out of here. And then the second hardest part is definitely getting on stage.
Yeah, just the nerves and
The nerves, yeah.
Do you take any kind of substances
Yes.
to help the
Yes.
help the
Calm the nerves.
process?
Some liquid courage.
There you go.
Yeah. But once you're on stage and everything's going smooth, easy does it.
Well, for those of you that haven't seen Michael, do you have any scheduled dates coming up?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Brandon. So I've been talking to the Rialto Theater in Florence, and we are planning on scheduling 3 shows in March. It's not for sure yet, but I do believe it's going to happen in March. So I'm pretty excited about it.
Well, I've seen you on several occasions, and let me tell you guys, if you want to leave a comedy show with your stomach hurting, you got to go see this guy. If you get a chance, if this happens, check him out, because really, you would consider yourself what they say a clean comedian, right? I mean, there's a couple of naughty words here and there,
Yeah,
but it's
yeah.
it's not raunchy, disgusting, or anything like that. But we're gonna come back with this.
And we're back with the Barber Buzz, 1400 KRLN. We're here with Michael Madone, amateur comedian, all-around funny guy.
Not amateur.
Amateur,
He-
pro.
He's legit.
The real deal.
Yeah.
When'd your Netflix special come out? And I was like,
Soon.
very nice.
Within the next 15 years.
Perfect.
So when we left off, we were talking about your comedy style. Brennan said it was on the cleaner side. How would you describe your comedy style?
Relatable.
Relatable.
Yeah. I like to take the cleaner approach when it comes to writing jokes, but, when you're in the moment and it's going really good, you tend to slip up. That's the way I go sometimes, but I try not to hold myself at this ridiculously unrealistic standard of not saying anything bad during my sets, because it's just hard not to sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, Bill Cosby, he was a pretty clean comedian, but we all know where that goes.
Slippery slope.
I don't think there's necessarily anything wrong with, a zinger here or a word that emphasizes the punchline, or I almost think that sometimes it makes it funny.
Exactly.
It makes it funny to throw in a not so appropriate word sometimes.
Yeah.
And I definitely give credit to the people that can go through a whole set
Yeah.
and not curse.
Mhm.
That takes, I think, a lot of discipline and self-control.
Yeah.
It's tough as an adult, and then we come from a law enforcement background where
Barbershop background.
Yeah,
more than
well,
anything.
and that both of those things seem to be hard to control your language sometimes. So yeah, I give it to the comedians that can get up there and do a clean set, but
Yeah.
it's tough.
Yeah, I try, but I don't try hard enough, I guess. I don't know.
What? So I know your parents go to your shows. What's
Does
it
your
like?
mom, yell at you?
It's it's so funny because when I first started doing stand-up, I did not tell them. I did not tell them that I had a show. They ended up finding out through the newspaper.
No
They're like,
way.
What's this? I'm like, that's someone else. I'm like, this is your picture. Like, it's not me, I swear. And then they came to my show and it was super uncomfortable for me, actually.
Right.
Yeah, because it's the first time they've ever seen me, write jokes and tell jokes and be, say bad words, and it's like, this is so awkward because I just feel the beaming stare of my parents.
Does your mom give you any advice like before you go on stage or?
Okay, yeah.
Don't embarrass me.
Yeah, that's it. And the one thing that I do is embarrass them as much as I can, because people know who my parents are.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It just makes it so much better. Just be able to pick on them. But my mom always told me, she's like, whenever you do, when you go up on stage, just try not to cuss.
Yeah.
And she's the Joe Pesci from Goodfellas at home, so I don't know why she's telling me that.
Wow.
Sometimes.
Somewhere down the line, we're related. I know that you're adopted,
Mhm.
but my family and the Madones there's a relation there. I don't know how far back it goes, but I don't know if you know, but your mom actually babysat me when I was
Yeah.
a kid. So it's kind of funny to, picture your mom being Joe Pesci like that
Yeah.
because.
It's like before I did stand up, she was Joe Pesci from Home Alone, and then after I started doing stand up, she was Joe Pesci from Goodfellas.
Yeah.
But
Just all the freedom. Just
all
went
the
out
freedom,
window.
she's like, all right, I don't have to try to be good anymore.
It wasn't tough that first time that you just like laid down
so awkward.
an F-bomb.
Yeah, so awkward. Because I could just see my parents they're laughing hysterically. Like
Right,
my
right.
dad's, he's like crying, and it's just so weird because I never would have thought that.
What about like relationships? Do you talk about your relationship status in your act?
Yeah.
And is that weird with your parents being there?
No.
No, not at all.
I've been single all my life. There's not much to talk about.
So, like, when your parents saw your first show, did you have anything about them in your bits? You're like, yeah, my
Yeah.
mom's so dumb.
No. The one thing. So I told this one joke. I'm not gonna recite it because the FCC. But it was a funny joke, and it was almost kind of awkward for everybody, but it was super funny. And then I just threw in there like, "Hey mom, hi dad," and then everybody went crazy because they were just super embarrassed.
Oh yeah, I think I was at that show.
Yeah.
Actually.
And they were just like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe this." And I just kept on doing that after awkward and borderline. Did he really just say that kind of jokes? And everybody just lost it.
So tell us about your nickname. Is it mayonnaise or mayo?
Oh my god, cream cheese, yeah.
Cream cheese. There you go. Where'd the cream cheese nickname come from?
Because he's all white and creamy.
Yeah, basically. So my I wouldn't necessarily say he's my manager. Was my manager. His name was Chemo, and he did stand up, and he did good stand up. And he brought me on for this Rocky Mountain tour, and he introduced me as cream cheese. And the reason why he introduced me to that is because he said I'm the whitest white boy he's ever met in his life, and I'm just like, okay, ouch.
I guess it could have been more hurtful.
It could have been, yeah, you're right. But it was just funny.
Little jumping off point though, like start everybody laughing, like what's up with cream cheese?
yeah.
I've been called a Ritz before. You're brown, but you're still a cracker.
Oh, nice.
I like that.
Yeah.
Pretty
Goes
good.
real well with cream cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe you guys got something there.
Maybe, yeah.
You have an act.
Let's not go down that rabbit hole.
Right.
But
So these guys don't watch football. Did you watch football this weekend?
no, but I knew the team with the helmets won, so
Oh jeez.
that's good.
We got to get some more football savvy guests in here because I'm dying to talk about football so much.
So sorry, I don't watch sports very often.
Did the Vikings lose?
Vikings lost, but
Sunday.
and that was if you listened last week, my Minnesota family kind of tends to push my loyalty towards the Vikings, but I knew it was a tough win for the Vikings. 49ers are really good. Jimmy Garoppolo and then Richard Sherman on defense. So I knew it was going to be a tough swing for the Vikings, but obviously the 49ers are going to the NFC Championship along with the Green Bay Packers.
Who do you got?
Being a Vikings fan, you can't really root for the Packers, but Aaron Rodgers is up there, so
He's been there.
yeah, it'd be cool to see him get a Super Bowl and ride off into the sunset. But Jimmy Garoppolo, I feel like he has something to prove.
Yeah.
Coming from New England and being cast out by the dynasty.
Yeah.
I feel like, and I really like Kyle Shanahan, who's the coach for the 49ers.
Oh yeah.
He comes from football royalty. His dad was a 49ers coach and a Bronco coach. So, it'd be cool. John Lynch, obviously, ex-Bronco, is the GM for for San Francisco. So a lot of Bronco royalty over there in California now. And then on the flip side, AFC, the Ravens lost.
Oh man.
The Ravens
Big upset.
fell to the Titans, which everybody kind of thought the Titans situation beating the Patriots was kind of a fluke. And here comes
Guess
Ryan
not.
Tannehill smacking down the Ravens, and what a game! What a game! Nobody thought that the Ravens they were gonna choke, and they did. They choked bad. So we got AFC Championship is Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs versus Ryan Tannehill and the Titans, and
Gotta hope Little Phil goes for Little Mahomes because
Yeah,
he's
right.
is Little Mahomes. So
well, so being a Jets fan, I try to make my children Jets fans, but Philip, my little boy, he loves Philip Lindsay.
Oh,
So,
okay, yeah.
Bronco.
name.
And we're trying to explain to him that you can't be a Chiefs, you can't root for the Chiefs and be a Broncos fan.
Can't do it. No.
But, you know, at this age, it's more about the players, and
Yeah.
if he's going to look up to somebody, Patrick Mahomes seems to be a pretty good role model.
We haven't
so.
seen him in any scandals yet. So
Yeah. I do like the Jets quarterback, Sam Darnold. He's such a Boy Scout.
Is he really? Like,
Um,
doesn't even drink on the weekends.
No, he like drinks milk and
Goes to bed before 9.
yeah.
Like, no
Apparently
party.
catches mono from drinking fountains.
Can you believe that? Like,
Yeah.
I can't believe
What was
that.
he sucking off the spigot?
Growing
Yeah.
up, like, kids mono, I don't get it.
That green crust on the rim?
They're sharing water bottles now.
I didn't know that mono was like a real thing. I thought it was just something they told us in junior high.
I had a
Thought
buddy
it
who
was
got
make
it. Yeah,
I thought it was just a scare tactic, man. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Just don't drink out of your buddy's water bottle. Tactic. Like,
there it is.
Kiss
Just
girls.
don't
kiss
drink out of your
girls.
buddy. No,
Goonies.
that's fine.
Don't smooch everybody.
Yeah,
that was the
dude.
that
I
was
was
the
definitely
scare
got
tactic.
mono then.
Yeah, I'm surprised you never,
Hey,
kind of-
let's not. No.
Careful where we go there.
Yeah.
Ladies.
Jacob kisses all the girls.
Oh yeah, I wish. Yeah, no.
just a couple.
Just a couple. Yeah.
So, how was everyone's weekend?
Yeah, Michael, how was your
You
weekend?
know, let's.
Well, I didn't get mono, so that's good.
Thank God.
Yeah,
It's a mono-free weekend.
mono free weekend. It was a good weekend. Didn't really do much. Just wrote some stuff and went out and took some pictures and all that good stuff.
What do you just write on paper? What's your writing process?
So I type first, and then from what I type, I write down. Because there was a study done by these smart people that if you write stuff, you remember it a lot easier. So I think that's a little bit easier to do.
Did you ever listen to Joe Rogan?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen like the programs and the software that he has for writing? There's this one, I can't remember what it's called. You'd have to Google it, but he has it has like folders, and it like lays out in folders like his set, and then if something doesn't work, he can drag stuff into
Right.
different areas. I don't know, pretty interesting. If I was going to aspire to what Aaron wants to aspire to, I'd definitely look at something like that, so you can kind of organize your.
I'd have to get like dragon because I do like the finger tap method when I type. I can't type to save my life, and then
Text to speech.
I think right, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And writing,
Yeah.
it takes forever.
She got going, so that's good.
And we're back to Barber Buzz 1400 KRLN with Michael Madone talking comedy. We were just talking about who your favorite comedian is, and I'll just have to start off say R.I.P. Ralphie May. That's gonna be mine.
Oh,
I really miss that guy because I think I was more his he was funny but relatable. We were just two big hefty men.
two
so
big boys.
yeah, so
And he was
kinda
not
related to that.
politically correct by any stretch of the imagination.
No, I think that was his claim to fame. Was,
Yeah.
was how offensive he could be, and
He was.
And really, I think that's what we've kind of lost right in this country right now is what there's just everybody's so offended by everything, and it's got to be hard for comedians because where do you draw the line?
Dude, they don't. That's what they get their laughs off of. Like, there's no line, I guess.
The problem though is social media, and in general, like anything they say now is they're just blasted
Mm.
for
Cancel culture.
Yeah.
and that's the problem is these guys that are aspiring and struggling to make it. It's like one slip and you're a footnote You know, I mean, that's all it takes. I know another aspiring comedian, and he said a word talking about bargaining, and it was very, very offensive to the Jewish community, and he's a footnote now. He's not a comedian.
No way.
And it was
Culture. I think we're starting to swing around, though. I think people are going to get sick of the whole PC culture, you know, the wokeness and all that. I mean, I think people are kind of just seeing that it's kind of pointless.
Right.
I mean, you get mad at everything. You know, what are you really mad at?
Well, we were talking about this at the break, just between us, and I said Tom Segura is one of my favorite comedians, and that guy is just ice water in his veins. Like, he doesn't care who he offends. He's got your money. That's what Michael said. So laugh or see your way out, kind of. And I like that kind of fat, lazy loser comedian style.
Mhm.
You?
Yeah, I mean, if it works for him, it works. I mean, obviously I can't do that type of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, he has this real I don't really care what you think about me attitude,
Right.
which is something you definitely need for doing stand-up comedy, which is, for me, sometimes it's kind of hard to find that
Well, I
gray
know.
area.
We talked about football, but I know you're a baseball player.
Mhm.
You're a baseball coach. We definitely have that in common.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like baseball, in certain positions, especially pitching, you need that ice water in your veins, and especially even at the plate as a hitter.
Yeah.
Do you feel like sports have given you more confidence on stage? Is that
Yeah. You know, in terms of like, you know, you can't hesitate.
right?
When the spotlight's on you, you gotta just do it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You know.
Same thing with baseball. I mean,
Yeah.
it's-
When you're in the batter's box, you just gotta swing.
Well,
yeah.
I got a question. When you're on stage and you're out there performing, how soon do you be able to read that audience and say, okay, the direction of travel I'm going is probably not a good direction? How long does it usually take you, or is it just kind of hit and miss?
It's kind of hit and miss sometimes. It's a lot of trial and error. You know, when I was in Chicago, a lot of the stuff that I did didn't work, and it worked really well here, which was weird to me. I didn't really understand, but I think it was just because of the demographic of people. But when you're in Chicago, they're telling jokes about awful things, and the crowd just goes wild. And I was like, I'm not even talking about this type of stuff. I don't really know what's going on. But when it gets to a certain point, because there were open mics, and you saw the audience wasn't, you know, with you, you kind of just waited until your time went up.
I do think though that relatability as an aspect, the country as a whole,
Mm-hmm.
I think that your jokes would work as in the country as a whole versus that one Chicago demographic.
Yeah.
Personally.
And, yeah, Chicago was a very, you know, left-wing liberal area, which is like fine. I don't like getting into
Right.
politics too much, but
Gotta
because
go.
of the PC culture that was there and the cancel culture, being white, straight, and male was not a good mixture.
Yeah.
And I don't like use that as an excuse by any means, but
Right.
you know, the only jokes you can make were about white, straight men. And at this point in time, not a lot of people liked white, straight men, so
Just scum.
yeah. And people out there were weird about comedy. I really realized how subjective comedy is out there.
Now, when I think about comedy, I don't think Chicago. Is that a huge hub for comedy?
So when I went to Chicago, I went to Second City, which was this huge hub for comedy. A lot of Saturday Night Live alumni went through there. John Candy, Bill Murray, Steve Carell, and it was just really fascinating to me that I was able to, you know, go to the same courses they went to.
Right.
But then I realized it was a lot more hype than it deserved to have.
I think of like the Comedy Store in LA.
Yeah.
LA seems to have a really rich, because they're so close to Hollywood,
Yeah.
a really rich comedy background.
Mhm.
New York as well, and then even Las Vegas. To me, you know, there's so many opportunities in
Right.
Vegas. There's so many variety shows and things that you can get on and go do a 3-minute set or be a host or be a MC
Right.
and just kind of hone your skills every single night in Vegas. You know, where
Yeah.
Here, you don't really have that.
No.
You know.
I feel like Vegas is where entertainment goes to die, though.
I
don't know. If I go to Las Vegas, like the last place I'm gonna go to is like a comedy place.
I
I
think
feel like it's just a bunch of washed up, hacks or dudes that just couldn't make it.
I think that was true 10 years ago. Vegas now is kind of, for less of better words, woke, and it's just turned into kind of a hub for stardom. It's like little New York now. It's not that $3.99 all you can eat buffet. Vegas is gone. It's like Times Square now.
I don't know. Yeah,
It's
you got
so
Britney
different.
Spears doing she's got a residency in Vegas.
Don't diss on Britney.
I don't,
She doesn't anymore,
No?
actually.
Okay,
No.
see, I don't know if that's the spot to, oh boy, I'm coming back.
When
Here
Yeah,
it
but have you
comes.
been to Vegas?
Going to Vegas, and then now you're not in Vegas, and
Nobody cares.
it's like Vegas changes its identity on like almost a daily basis. So the last time we were there was last year, and Gordon Ramsay has 13 restaurants now, and it's the relevancy of what's relevant with TV. I feel like what's popular on TV, what's getting ratings, that's what they're putting in Vegas. As much as Giada De Laurentiis has a place now, and how many places does Guy Fieri have now in Vegas? And there's so much. If you have a reality show, it's like branding heaven, marketing heaven, and that's just
I
what
know.
I've seen.
I still have a hard time wrapping my head around that. Guy Fieri, that dude.
Flavor Town.
Yeah, I was on a cruise a few years ago, and they had a Guy Fieri restaurant on the cruise, and I absolutely wanted nothing to do with it.
Did you at
Just
least
because-
try it?
I did once, but just because of who Guy Fieri is, I just like I'll stay away from Flavor Town.
I think you underestimate the power of like how starstruck people are sometimes. Like,
If Guy Fieri came up to me, I'd be like, "Go away."
Yeah.
I'd be like, "Oh crap, this is Guy Fieri.
yeah,
Flavor Tommy, Daddy."
I think that a normal person, if they see somebody they saw on TV, they're just over the hill excited.
I would shake that greasy hand, bro.
Yeah.
That Guy Fieri, like, yeah,
Let me get a selfie. Like,
definitely.
Yeah.
Could you step a few feet back? Guy Fieri? There we go.
Gotta get the frosted tips in the picture, bro.
Oh no, dude.
we got a minute left, so
Oh,
we
yeah,
keep
man.
going.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Keep going.
Do this.
Keep going. Yeah, reel it in.
Stretch
Just
it.
start twirling your finger, and I get mixed signals here.
Well,
Oh,
I'm using this. I'm not
I was
using
just-
the center finger. So
I was just giving you the nod to go ahead.
Who's your
No,
favorite comedian, Amy?
Good question.
Oh gosh, so I haven't really
forgot
watched a
about you.
whole lot of comedy until I started working at the barber shop, and Brandon sends me little clips on YouTube every now and then. And what was that one lady?
Rosebud Baker.
Oh my gosh, I have been watching a bunch of her stuff and I love it. I laugh so hard.
She was actually one of the finalists on the Inside Jokes
Yeah.
reality show. She's got a good delivery and good content, but yeah, check out Rosebud Baker and Tom Segura and all these comedians we've been talking about. But we got to take a break here, so we'll be back with our last segment here on the Barber Buzz.
I just have to dictate.
So you start on the keyboard and then
Yep.
you
Start on the keyboard and then I write it out. And coming up with the chronological order for my set is difficult too, especially when I'm writing out, because I could be thinking about something else, and then I'll be finishing the joke, and then I'll come up with another punchline for a previous joke. So I'm like, how do I put this all together? It's like a big old jigsaw puzzle.
Right. Is starting the hardest part?
Yeah.
I would feel like that would be the hardest part. Like, what do you start with?
An introduction.
Yeah.
Like,
What's up? My name's Mike.
yeah.
Ready for the funnies?
Basically, yeah. That's basically how it starts. And it's just, I don't know how to start shows.
Yeah. I think that would be the toughest thing.
I just
Yeah.
gave you it, bro, right there.
Yeah.
You ready for the funnies?
Do you have like a crowd tester? Like you have a joke that like tests your crowd. If you got like a good crowd, bad crowd, like dirty jokes, non-dirty jokes,
No.
nothing.
No. I just make sure to let everyone know there's no refunds.
It's a good one. I like it.
Well, no
Joke's on
refunds.
you.
Joke's on you.
You're not getting your money back.
This money is spent.
So, Aaron, who's your favorite comedian?
Oh man, Anthony
question.
Jeselnik.
I would say
no,
so.
no
Anthony
hands
Jeselnik.
taken. No
Really?
doubt about it. He's definitely not like, clean.
Yeah.
Most of his jokes are about, just horrible things. Won't say it on the air. I don't want to offend anyone.
I would say Bill Burr is probably.
I love Bill Burr.
Yeah.
He's a hoot.
I just love like the angry approach to everything. That, like, I don't know how he does it. It's so fluid, and there's no, I don't know. There's no break. He just gets really angry. You, Michael?
I like Michael Birbiglia.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
yeah, he's solid.
I think he's phenomenal. His storytelling is
But
great.
hold that thought. We're gonna have to take a break here.
Hey, we'll be right back here. The Barber Buzz, 1400 KRLN.